fucked up one for sure. So she wrote, damn, DC Young Fly spent years disguising his own deeply rooted hatred of self as jokes pointed at women's beauty, projecting his own feelings about his own ugliness onto women, perfectly secure in their own skin. Say what you want about my tears; they were pure tears of rage, and not all that is a sign of weakness. Because in the end, I won. That's crazy. She said, because in the end, I won. I'm happy I cried and I moved on. That Jackie O girl must have been so deeply insecure about herself, and the nerve of DC to call such a gorgeous woman as Azealia Banks ugly on national television while a bunch of black people laughed, and ironically dead at 32 exactly on my 32nd birthday, May 31st, 2023 in Miami, Florida. Y'all dudes are going to learn to stop fucking with me,
First
bro.
of all, Azalea Banks, I hope you're watching this, and I hope you get a real good look at me, right? My name Almighty, you ugly ass, crusty face ass bitch.
Damn.
My name Almighty is Azalea Banks, and you ugly as fuck. You ugly as fuck. Like I'm talking about like bottom of my shoe, ugly, like that kind of ugly, like
The bottom of your shoes are new though.
yeah, nah, I've been wearing them for a while, like stepping in dog shit ugly, like bitch, it's no way in hell that you think one, that you ever in a million years looked better than Jackie O. Two, I don't know how you ever would disrespect this lady who ain't never said a word about you ever and she just passed away. You dusty, crusty ass fucking bum. You dirty ass bitch. Like, you just got the game all fucked up. Like, who even says some shit like this, bitch? Like, you a weirdo, and that's exactly why, bitch, nobody listens to your music. That's exactly why you're a failure at life. Your career's a failure. You're a failure. And this is why you cried on Wildin' Out, because you're a bum-ass, mentally unhinged bitch.
Okay, so here's how I feel about the situation. Um, and y'all might not like everything that I have to say, but I'm pretty sure y'all can tell from my channel. I just give, how I feel about the situation, and to each his own. Basically, first and foremost, I kind of see both sides, to be honest. I understand Azalea's side, and I understand DC's side, as far as, I understand how people can be upset about what Azealia said. I understand. See, the thing is, Azealia, as much as she says, oh well, it didn't hurt me what they said. When they called me ugly, it didn't bother me because I know I'm beautiful, and all this other mess, right? If it didn't bother her, y'all may hear the thing because I'm at my night job right now. But anyway, nonetheless, if it didn't bother her, she wouldn't talk about it as much. I think the thing was, Azealia was invited on the show, or whatever reason she signed up, she was invited. Either way, Wild and Out has been out since I was in middle school. Matter of fact, I remember Wild and Out coming back. No, it was on before I was even in middle school. I'm gonna tell you how I know. Because when I was in middle school, I remember in class one time, they was like, Wild and Out came back. And I said, Wild and Out came back? And they said, yeah, it came back. And I remember them talking about it. And so it's been out for some time. It was out before I was even in middle school, okay? Wild and Out been on TV for a long time. So with that being said, you kind of already knew what type of show that was, right? You see what I'm saying? You kind of already knew, for the most part, that's a show where they roast. They roast and they gag. And for the most part, they have celebrity guests. They joke on each other. You kind of already know what the show is giving. So don't give me that you didn't know what you were getting yourself into. You're not the only person that they got on the show and they got roasted. Wendy Williams was another one that she didn't. You could tell when she was on the stage. You could tell the jokes were rubbing her the wrong way. I don't know why y'all agree to go on these shows that you already know for the most part what is going to be given. If that makes sense, you already know they probably gonna joke on your hair, joke on your shoes, joke on Nick Cannon, and that's his show. They talk about how his music suck, which it does. You know, his music may suck, but we not about to act like his money ain't long. Okay. Do I agree with everything Nick Cannon does? No. But in the same token, it goes to show that you know, you're not gonna agree with what everyone does. But at the end of the day, you cannot discredit their work, if that makes sense, right? So with that being said, I'll never forget that one time it was a guy that used to always hit me up on social media, right? And you'll see why this relates to the Azealia Banks situation. Not so much, kind of the same, but not really. You'll see why. Long story short, was the guy that used to hit me up on social media a lot back in the day. And he used to have like a roasting group sessions, right? Where he get everybody in a group chat, a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people, maybe 3,000, 4,000 people. I mean, the chat was lit. And I didn't really never pay it no mind. He wasn't really my type of dude because he was really loud. I never seen this dude in person. To this day, I never seen him in person. He lived in a whole nother state. He was just somebody that, you know how back in the day, that's why I realized you got to be very funny about who you accept on social media, because you just never know who these characters are, right? So he used to always hit me up on social media. And long story short, I told you he had a big group chat. And around this time, I was still going to community college. Wasn't that long after high school. And he had this big group chat, right? So boom. So one day he said, he kept saying, you need to come in my group chat, you know. And I told my guy friend at the time, I said, this guy always hitting me up talking about he want me to come in his group chat and all this other stuff. And I told him who the guy was. And he said, oh, don't go, friend. I said, why you said that? He said, don't go. I said, why you said that? He said, dude got issues. I said, why you say that? He said, dude got issues. So he said, I'm telling you, don't go. He said, all I could do is tell you, don't go. So I'm like, you know, so the dude kept hounding me about it, So one particular day I woke up kind of early. You know, I was getting myself ready for class. Back then, I told y'all I used to take the bus back then because I didn't have a car around this specific time. So I used to take the bus, you know. I always made a way. Even before I had a car, didn't have a car, whatever the case may have been, I always made it. I never been one of those people that made excuses for me not to go to work, not to go to class. Oh, you know, I ain't have a car, that mean I'm not going to school. I never been one of those people. Even before, like now, you know, even before, I've always, you know, made a way. You know, so can't nobody never say, like the other day, the girl, when I was riding in my truck, the girl said, you think you the shit because you riding in that truck. If only people knew my story. Okay, you don't know me from an atom. You don't know me from a hole in the wall. Like I told her, your best bet is to keep it pushing because don't let these pearls and these curls fool you. Okay, so boom, nonetheless, I tell y'all that's the story time for another day. People see you now and they think you've always had it together. But they don't know. But anyway, nonetheless. So I was getting up early, you know, because I was preparing myself to take the bus to go to class, right? So mind you, you know, when you got a busy day ahead, you're trying to get yourself together mentally, physically, spiritually, you know, boom. So I don't know why my stomach was just in knots about going into this specific group chat. Because I don't know why. It was just something about him. I already wasn't trying to fool him. It was just something about him. And then my good Judy told me not to, you know, he told me not to go in there. But, you know, against my better judgment, I went in there anyway. So long story short, this specific guy, in his profile picture, he had a picture of him hugging a mannequin. So you really couldn't see his face. You really couldn't see, him. You really couldn't see him because he was just hugging a mannequin. So when he had this specific picture up, I went in the group chat or whatever, and so anyway, yeah, I went in the group chat or whatever, and long story short, it was a roasting group. So when I tell y'all, he never, throughout the whole video, he never showed his face. He never showed nothing about him. It was just him. All you could see, you know how somebody, you may be on video chat with somebody, FaceTime, and they got their phone like turned towards like the wall or something. You couldn't see nothing. All you could hear was his voice. And mind you, I'm on the chat, and all he doing is just roasting my hair, saying I had a fat face, just jokes, right? He couldn't come at my teeth because I always had pretty teeth. I always took pride in my teeth. He couldn't come at my skin because I never had bad skin. I've always kept myself up like that. All he had really was like fat jokes, my hair, stuff like that. He couldn't really come at, like my hygiene. He couldn't say I had a dirty house. He couldn't say none of that, So, nonetheless, it kind of disrupted my spirit a little bit because I'm like, why you would invite me in a group chat just to roast? What was that about? So he had all the girls going in on me. Yeah, she thinks she the shit. Da da da, And it kind of disrupted my spirit because I'm like, well, why would you? Who does that? Why are you inviting people in group chat just to roast? So that particular morning, it kind of made me sad a little bit because it was like I felt it was very unnecessary. So the whole walk to the bus stop, I played gospel music, to lift up my spirit because it kind of really disturbed my spirit. So one of the particular girls that was laughing along with the jokes, she ended up messaging me not long after that, and she told me how he did the same thing to her. She thought he was cool, and one day he's flipped on her, and they was on video chat, and he did the same thing to her, roasted her, So, nonetheless, fast forwarding, some time went on, and I ended up messaging him on social media. I said, why did you do that? Like, what was that about? Why are you inviting people into group chats just to roast them? Like, what is it about you? What are you getting off on that? So he told me, he said whenever he's sad, that's just what he do. He like to roast. Whenever he's sad, he like to roast people. He was having an effed up day already. And I said, already? He said, yeah, I was having an effed up day the day before, and then he told me how that was a very low point in his life, and it made him happy just to roast people. That made him happy just to roast people. He said sometimes that he liked to roast. That's just what he liked to do. So I ended up telling him, I said, you need to dig real deep inside and see what is it about you that you get off on putting people down. Like, you need to really dig deep into that, because like at that moment, I was in the process, by the time I had messaged him, I was in the process of transferring my credits to a university. So, and now look, I'm out of college. I'm going back to grad school for my master's. So, and I bet you he's still not doing shit with his life. So, the reason why I give you that story time, for two reasons. I think Azealia is one of those people. I think she's one of those people that gets off on roasting people, putting people down. And I think it's something within her that she feels that she's lacking. And she gets off on humiliating other people, putting people down, hurting people's feelings. Like, she gets off on that. It makes her feel better about herself. So I know Azealia has said um, she was under the impression that she was just supposed to be performing at Wild 'N Out, and that's why she felt betrayed by Nick Cannon when she came on stage. And I guess she said it was a change of plans where they said he was going to perform and come on stage. So I know they had said that she felt betrayed by Nick Cannon because that was not a part of the agreement. And not only was she invited there to do one thing, but came and it was something else. Not only that, she felt like it was a setup for her to get roasted. I don't put it past Nick. I don't put it past him at all, because we not gonna sit here and act like Azealia is everyone's favorite. And I think a part of the reason why she's not everyone's favorite is because of her attitude. Now, in my opinion, Azealia is not the best thing walking by looks or personality. And that's just my opinion. We are all beautiful and ugly to somebody. Some people may think the next person is beautiful. To the next person, they may think the person is ugly. We are all ugly to somebody. Okay? But in the same token, part of the reason why what makes Azealia ugly is her personality. Okay, we're not gonna sit here and act like she the best thing walking. Okay, but the best looking walking. Okay, whatever. Okay, but part of that contributes to her attitude, her personality. That is a good proportion of what makes her ugly. Okay. In the same token, Azealia, I believe, how can I say this? So my only advice to Azealia is, I think she needs to get on her knees and pray and repent for what she said about DC's wife. I think we've all been in arguments one time or another, and we've all said some effed up stuff to some folks, whether it was family, friends, whatever, but I think we've all been guilty of saying something hurtful things to one another, but the thing is, I'm not going to sit up here and say, what did the wife have anything to do with it? What did the wife have anything to do with it? Because she didn't. But in the same token, like I told y'all, I've been told I hit below the belt too. You see what I'm saying? And I'm one of those people, when I'm having words or whatever, beefing with someone, hey, it could go there. It could really go there. It could go there. It could go there, and I know a lot of people were saying that, I know a lot of people were trying to understand why she was still talking about it, so many years later. And because she's still hurt. She's still hurt. Her feelings were still hurt. As much as she tries to act like she has tough skin, I don't believe she does. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I believe Azealia is one of those people that have a lot of regrets. And I believe in my heart, if she had any idea that her stunts would have put her in a situation that she is in now as far as her career, I believe in my heart that if she could turn back the hands of time, she would have done things differently. I do believe that, because we're not going to sit here and act like her going off on these tangents is not a reason why that she's in that situation that she's in now. I believe part of the reason why her music isn't selling, her shows weren't selling out, is because her stunts. Her stunts are a contributing factor to why she is where she is now. But other than that, you know, Azealia has to live in her own karma, and I believe she lives in it every day. And that's why she's so hateful, she's so miserable, and she's so mad at the world. Um, Nobody can convince me that Azealia isn't miserable, right? And I don't think it has anything to do with her harping on getting roasted on a TV show that was about humor and laughter and basically a roasting session show. I don't even think it has anything to do with her harping on that. I really don't. I believe it's solely contingent on I'm at my night job, y'all. Hold on. I think it's solely contingent on her just not being happy with herself and her life. I really do. I really do. You know, and I don't think it has anything to do with her still being upset about something shit that happened years ago. Because to me, to be honest, I told y'all I'm real big on, you know, people have to heal at their own time. Sometimes, you know, I feel like she felt that she was done wrong. And to be honest, if what she said was true, if she really thought that she was coming up there just to perform and then they put her on the stage and she got roasted, to be honest, I could see why she got upset about that. Because I would be. If you told me, if I signed a contract for to just come perform and then I get there and then you're like, oh yeah, can you come on the stage? Yeah, you know, we think it'll be good for the show, and then I get up there, then I'm roasted, I would be upset too. I would. Like, damn, that's not what I signed up for. So not only did y'all violate my contract, or, you know, if you come there thinking one thing and then basically y'all caught her off guard. She didn't have time to practice anything. As we could see, she want the best at joking. She want the best at shooting it off the dome as far as like her jokes and stuff. And she wasn't good at it. You know, she probably had to practice for something like that. She probably felt blindsided. She probably felt, you know, violated. She probably felt like, you know, if that's what happened, I could see why she was upset with Nick. Because you made me think one thing, then I got there with something else. I could see why she was still upset about that. Especially, you know, you don't know what her mental state was. You don't know what she was going through at that time. I mean, if we're going to give grace to DC, we have to give grace to her as well. Let's stop picking and choosing who we giving grace to. We have to consider all situations. You get what I'm saying? Like, we can't just be upset with her. We have to think about it both ways. We have to see her point of view as well now. You know, if that happened, I could see why she would still be upset about that. And Azealia strikes me as a type that's an overthinker. And somebody had, you know, I told y'all before, people have told me numerous times that I read deep into situations. I had somebody tell me the other day that I was an overthinker. And you know what she told me? She said, you're an overthinker. And I said, no, I'm not. She said, I'm going to tell you how I know you're an overthinker. Because I'm an overthinker. And it takes one to know one. And I think Azealia is one too. I told y'all, one of my celebrity role models that I used to go up for, I'm not going to say her name, but when I told her I felt that she wasn't as warm-spirited as I felt that she should be, you know what she responded? You read deep into things. I could tell that right now. You read way deep into things, too deep. She could tell me that about myself within maybe 2 conversations. I spoke with her like 2 conversations. She could tell me that about myself. So maybe I am. Maybe I am. I do overanalyze stuff, you know. Nonetheless, so a lot of people got upset when Azealia said that Jackie O obviously had some insecurity issues that, you know, she was battling within that nobody knew about. And truth be told, clearly she did. Because think about it. She had that surgery, but a lot of people don't want to admit it. But who's to say she hasn't had even more surgeries? Who's to say she hasn't had a surgery every time she had a baby? Everybody body cannot take that. Like some people's bodies can only take but so much. Everybody body ain't built for surgery after surgery after surgery. Who's to say she hasn't had more? People keep blaming the doctor. Yeah, I know a lot of platforms have did their surgery, and it's been, well, I'm not gonna say proven, but let's just say a platform had went on, evidently it's a website where you can see what doctors are certified and what doctors aren't. And allegedly a blogger did, well, it's not allegedly, she showed us on the website where he was not board certified. But the reason why I think it's an allegedly, because how do we know that's not a fake website? You see what I'm saying? We don't know. Maybe that could be a fake website, but on the website that she pulled up, he was not board certified. I mean, how do we know that's not a fake website? I mean, I don't know, but nonetheless, y'all keep blaming the doctor, but not victim blaming, but how do we know she hasn't had more surgeries? As effed up as it may sound, this could have been a normal thing for her. We got to stop. Yeah, it's okay to grieve with people. It's okay to sympathize with people. It's okay for your heart to go out to people. That's human nature. But in the same token, you also have to use common sense. And the reality of the situation is, how do we know this is not a often thing for her? We've seen countless examples of different celebrities having these surgeries back to back to maintain an image. How do we know this is not something she always did? And this one time was the very time that her body said, no, I can't take it no more. Enough is enough. How do we know that's not the case? We don't know. And to be honest, Azealia was on to something. She did have insecurity issues because, to be honest, to me, I don't think the girl needed surgery. I don't think she did. I think she looked okay. We're not going to sit here and act like that girl was ugly. I didn't see nothing fat about her. To me, she seemed like, a decent size, especially after 3 children. To me, it seemed like she was all right. I didn't think she needed it. But it goes to show some people are insecure. They gain 1 pound and they think it's the end of the world. We've all met skinny chicks that's, oh my goodness, I think I gained 2 pounds. We've all met people like that. That's insecure. People always try to act like fat bitches the only ones that can be insecure. Sometimes you skinny bitches can be even more insecure than us. Let's be honest. It is. I would not want to be standing next to Azealia when her karma come. Because, baby, with that mouth and the stuff she put into the atmosphere, I would not want to be nowhere in her proximity when her day comes to really reap everything that she has sown. Because for you to say, basically you said you put a hex on that girl, and that's the reason why she no longer here, whether it's the truth or not. For you to even say that you would even do something like that, it tells us a lot about your spirit, your soul, and who you are as a person. It shows that you have a dark soul. And we not about to sit here and act like the old saying goes, most mentally disturbed people start off with killing cats. We have all heard that saying before. You already showing us you're not all the way mentally there. And for you to say something like that, it goes to show that maybe, just maybe, Jess was on to something when she said you need to go get some help. Because you tried to say the girl was hating on you when she told you go seek help. But maybe, just maybe, she was on to something. You already showing us you ain't there by living in the houses with dead animals and shit. Okay? Worshiping animals and stuff. You know. But I'm not one to knock nobody's religion. So I ain't say nothing. But now you saying off the wall shit like this. It goes to show maybe she was on to something when she said you ain't wrapped too tight. Because I declare, I tell you what, I won't want to be standing next to you. Because when you think karma didn't hear that? You think the universe gonna miss your doorstep for that remark? No, ma'am. It may not come now, may not come tomorrow, may not come years down the road, but it's gonna come, baby. And even if it don't hit you in this lifetime, it'll hit you in the afterlife. Because you cannot say things like that. You cannot do stuff like that. And if you do, if and when you do say it, you need to repent. Say, God, I was upset. I was hurt by that. I felt like they were clowning me. Please have mercy on my soul. I hope you say that, baby. And when you say it, I hope you mean it. Because God know your heart. You need to repent. You need to get on your knees and repent to the good Lord. God, I'm sorry. I was hurt. But please forgive me. Please don't take no years off my life for what I said about that girl. Because don't get it mistaken. Just because she left here before you did don't mean nothing. Don't mean you ain't next, baby. Remember that part. So, in a nutshell, if Azealia did come to that show thinking she was going to perform at first, then when she got there, it was something else going on. I could see why she could still be salty about that, because not only was she embarrassed, her feelings was hurt. You know, as much as she says it won't, it was. And you human, you know, if it makes you feel better, it's been things that I have been through that folks did to me that it still crosses my mind every now and then. But you know, one thing I have had to learn in life, you have to think about all the good things that have happened in your life. Because if you think about somebody clowning you back in the day, sometime it will consume you. You know, like I always say, the antagonizer, it's easy for them to forget. You know, usually if you really think about it, I don't know if you're listening, Azealia, but this is from me to you, okay? And I feel in my heart that if you are listening to me, under the sound of my breath, I feel that if you are listening to me, you know, you feel the sincerity in my heart. I know you can hear me through my sincerity, okay? And I want you to know that it's okay to be hurt. It's okay to feel like, you know, they clowned you, you know, even if you do feel, okay, yeah, that's a roasting show, but even if you do feel, um, they were clowning you from a malicious place. Like, it won't all just jokes. Some of it, they meant to be hurtful, right? I've had moments like that as well, many of them. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you how, you know, it's not something that you're gonna get over overnight. Okay, I would be a liar if I told you some of those situations still don't cross my mind. Because, you know, like the old saying goes, when you close your eyes, the only thing that you're gonna have that you can actually take with you to the other side is your feelings and your word. Okay, that's all that you really have in this world. Okay, you know, so anything else, once you're not here anymore, that belongs to somebody else, whether it's the bank, you know, however they split up your stuff or whatever people choose to do. But for the most part, you get my drift. The only thing you're taking with you is your feelings and your word. You know, I can tell you that I know from my own experience that some things may still bother you. And that's okay. You know, like, I stay away from people that say, well, that happened so many years ago and they need to get over it. Even if it's not directed to me, I can hear them talk about it as far as somebody else. I already know me and this person not going to vibe. Because see, I like people that come from a place of understanding. Not know, well, that's old. That's old shit. I don't deal with people. I never have and I never will. I like people that can understand my point of view. And I feel that you have a valid point of view. You felt like they were trying to be funny. Now, do I put it past them? No. No, I don't put it past them. Okay? Nick Cannon like his woman of a certain complexion. We never seen or heard about DC Young Fly with a dark-skinned woman. I don't know if he does. I don't know if he doesn't. I mean, I've only seen her with Jackie, but for the most part, most of those guys on those shows, you see them with light-skinned women. So I could see why you could say they were hating on the dark-skinned girl, but you're not dark-skinned. You're brown-skinned. Whether you was dark-skinned or not, that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, I want you to get some healing. And you can't say that you're all the way healed. You're not. And if you are listening to me, I can only imagine you're probably saying, bitch, shut up. That sounds like something you will say. But at the end of the day, you have to look yourself in the mirror. And you can't say that you're happy with yourself 100%, because if you was, what he said to you on that stage wouldn't have bothered you. Words, whoever says sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. That's a lie from the pits of hell, because words do hurt, whether people want to admit it or not. Okay? I want you to get healing, and most importantly, I want you to get down on your knees and pray and ask God to forgive you, because he's a forgiving God. Whoever you pray to, let me tell you something. Now, this from me to you. You sit up there and talk about all that witchcraft and stuff like that. I don't get involved with all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to tell you, that's going to be a story time for another day. I never forget back in the day, once upon a time, I had a so-called good Judy that I had to learn about for myself. And she used to say she believed in that witchcraft and she put spells on people and stuff like that. I don't get involved with stuff like that. Very rare will you ever hear me even mention stuff like that. But long story short, let's just say we was in the car one day, and her mom, she was driving her mama van. Her mama van stopped in the middle of the road. And the first thing she said, because back then we were all fat girls, right? So neither one of us wanted to get out and push the van, right? So you know what she said? Lord, please get this van going, because we can't push this van. That was the first thing out of her mouth. And I looked to my left, because she was in the driver's seat. I said, I thought you said you don't believe in God. And her eyes poked open. Her eyes poked open. You see what I'm saying? So don't let it be a situation where something traumatic happens in your life, and then I bet you that's the first person you call on. But I'm gonna leave it alone, to each his own. But I want you to get better, Azealia. You're not getting any younger. They say you're very talented. I told you I don't know none of your songs, child. But I mean, even the people that wrote you say you have potential, so that goes to show that it's something there. People know you for your antics and not your work. Like me, I don't know you for nothing else but your antics. Let your singing, rapping, whatever you do. I think they say you a rapper. I don't know, child. Well, let that show through. Okay? Relax. I understand. I told you I understand. I've been there. I've done that. I know how you feel. You may feel like they clown you. Sometimes it takes time to get over that. I get it. I 100% get it. But in the meantime, between time, work on you. That's all.